You've settled into the quiet days, the gentle rhythm of living alone, finding comfort in the simplicity of each moment. It's a peaceful way to live, steady, familiar, and calm. But life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. A single, unexpected visit can break that stillness, awaken feelings we thought were long forgotten, and maybe even change everything. In those quiet moments, life can suddenly open a new door, revealing depths of meaning we never saw coming. Mr. Thomas had lived alone for many years in a small house by a lake in Michigan, where each day was accompanied by the gentle sound of waves and the rustle of leaves. At 82, solitude wasn't something he saw as sad or lonely. It had become a familiar presence, woven into the fabric of his life. His days passed by in a quiet, steady rhythm, a warm cup of coffee in the morning, reading a few pages of a book, afternoons spent on the porch gazing at the still lake, and evenings organizing old photographs filled with memories. For Mr. Thomas, this small house was his entire world, a place where memories lingered in the silence. He had lived through his share of ups and downs, and now, nearing the final chapters of his journey, he felt a deep sense of peace. Friends had gradually drifted away, old connections faded, and his children had grown up and started families of their own. His world had gently settled into a collection of memories and quiet routines that he had come to embrace as fulfilling. That summer, everything was as usual until one afternoon. He was sitting on the porch, watching the lake's surface reflecting the gentle light of the setting sun. Then, suddenly, a knock on the door broke the familiar stillness. Mr. Thomas looked up, his heart skipping a beat when he saw the woman standing at his doorstep. Something about her sparked a sense of familiarity, a face, a gaze, something that echoed from a distant past. Yet he couldn't immediately place her. Gathering his composure, he stepped forward, clearing his throat and stammering, I'm sorry, but are you?" The woman gave a gentle smile, her eyes warm and filled with a kindness he hadn't forgotten. Those eyes, that smile, yes, it seemed like Evelyn. She smiled and spoke, her voice soft and as familiar as ever. "Don't you recognize me, Thomas? It's been so long. How have you been?" Hearing her voice, it was as if everything came rushing back, like a wave bringing memories long buried. He looked at her closely, to make sure he wasn't dreaming, and now there was no doubt. "Evelyn, is it really you?" he asked, joy and disbelief mingling in his words. I never thought I'd see you again." Evelyn's smile grew, and she stepped a little closer, speaking gently. "It has been a long time, hasn't it? I didn't think I'd find myself on your doorstep after all these years. But I wanted to see you, to know how you've been." Mr. Thomas reached out, almost as if afraid she might vanish. Evelyn stood there, close and real, a piece of his past he thought had drifted away forever. Come in," he said, trying to steady himself. "Please, let's sit down. There's so much I want to ask you, so much to say." Evelyn stepped carefully into his home, her gaze taking in the small, quiet space as if respecting the solitude Mr. Thomas had crafted. He led her to the living room, where the soft glow of the evening light streamed through the large window, casting a warm, gentle ambience. He invited her to sit in the old armchair he sat in every afternoon, while he took the chair across from her, his gaze never leaving his old friend. "All these years," he began softly, his voice low as if preserving the calm of the moment, "and you're still just as graceful as ever. I thought I'd lost all touch with you for good." Evelyn sat quietly for a moment, as if collecting her thoughts. Her eyes held a quiet sadness, layered with the weight of unspoken things. She looked at him, her voice gentle but carrying the strength of years gone by. "Thomas," she began, folding her hands together, "my mother passed away last year. After she was gone, my children and I began going through her things, sorting out everything she left behind. While I was cleaning, I stumbled upon an old box, tucked away at the back of a drawer, dusty and worn." She paused, looking off into the distance, as if the memory of that box was right there before her. Inside the box were letters from you, not just one, but many letters, each one you sent while you were at war. Mr. Thomas stood frozen, unable to speak. Evelyn continued, her voice tinged with emotion and regret. I read every letter, every word you wrote from the heart. You said your feelings for me had never changed, that even amid the trials of war, I was still your greatest source of strength. You wrote that you hoped I'd wait for you, that you'd come back, and that you longed for us to build a life together when it was all over. She paused, her eyes glistening, her voice breaking. But those letters, I never actually got to read them until now. Mr. Thomas's heart tightened. He took a deep breath to steady himself, his voice trembling slightly. You never received a single letter from me, Evelyn? Evelyn shook her head, a trace of sadness in her eyes. Not a single one. Thomas, I didn't know anything. I thought you had moved on, that the war had taken you, or that maybe you'd forgotten me. My mother hid those letters. She thought our love was just a fleeting, youthful mistake, and she wanted me to forget you, to settle down with someone else for a stable life. Mr. Thomas couldn't contain his emotion. His voice choked with sorrow. So, your mother hid every letter and never gave them to you? And here I was thinking, he trailed off, looking out into the distance with sadness in his eyes. Back then, I kept waiting for your reply. Every day, I held on to hope until I came home and found out you'd gotten married. Evelyn nodded gently, her face showing a mixture of sadness and regret. I've read those letters hundreds of times since I found them. Every night, I sit down and read them, imagining myself back in those years, waiting for you to come home. She looked into his eyes, her smile soft yet tinged with melancholy. And then I realized I had to find you, to know that you were doing well, to know that even after all these years, that love, it's still a precious part of our lives. Mr. Thomas nodded, his gaze filled with both love and deep emotion. Thank you, Evelyn. Thank you for coming. His voice quivered with gratitude. For so many years, I thought about those letters, thought about you, wondering if you ever remembered me. I never dreamed I'd get to see you again, to hear you say these things. Mr. Thomas and Evelyn sat together for a long time, as if nothing in the world could pull them away from that moment. They reminisced about the past, recalling their younger days, the first time they met, the beautiful days they shared dreaming and hoping. Mr. Thomas shared stories of his years in the war, the letters he wrote, and how his love and memories of her helped him endure the hardships. Evelyn listened, sometimes nodding, sometimes gently holding his hand, as though the two of them were transported back to the days of their youth. Neither noticed how time passed, until the sky had darkened, the moon had risen, and silence blanketed the night. It's late, Evelyn murmured, a hint of regret in her voice. I should be going, but I'm so glad I came here today. They exchanged phone numbers and promised to see each other again. Thank you for coming, Mr. Thomas said, his voice slightly unsteady. And thank you for all the memories we've shared together. When Evelyn left, Mr. Thomas sat alone in silence for a long while, holding on to every moment of their meeting. That night, he couldn't sleep. Memories and emotions surged through him, shattering the calm rhythm of the life he had known for so many years. The past and present intertwined in his mind, leaving him with a feeling that was both overwhelming and indescribable. He drifted into memories of his youth, of the times they once spent together under the setting sun, of the passion and depth of young love, reflections on life, on choices made, and missed opportunities all surfaced vividly. Then he thought of the present, of the life he had grown accustomed to, living alone, and the fresh sense of joy that came with knowing Evelyn still remembered him. That night, Mr. Thomas sat by the window, gazing out at the lake bathed in moonlight, his heart full of memories, a blend of past and present. After the unexpected meeting with Evelyn, Mr. Thomas's life felt renewed, as if a fresh breeze had stirred the stillness. For so long, he had been used to the quiet by the lakeside in Michigan, his days marked by simple routines. But Evelyn, his first love and lifelong friend, had returned, awakening feelings he thought had long faded. Like a gentle breeze, she had come back and rekindled his spirit, helping him rediscover the small but meaningful things in life. In the weeks that followed, they met up occasionally, sometimes to sit by the lake and talk, sometimes for tea at a little cafe nearby, or simply for a walk, reminiscing about old times. These conversations brought a unique feeling to Mr. Thomas, both familiar and new, as if he were reliving his youth. Every story, every reminder from Evelyn seemed to refresh his old routines, allowing him to see that each moment in life could become a precious memory. Evelyn's presence made him realize that sometimes the simplest things are the most valuable. Mr. Thomas came to understand that happiness isn't found in grand gestures or monumental achievements. It lies in the quiet presence of someone dear. Life doesn't have to be filled with big plans or lofty dreams. It's about sharing meaningful moments with those we love. Evelyn helped him see that regardless of age or circumstances, joy can be found in small, seemingly ordinary things, things that had once felt lost in time. Gradually, their conversations helped Mr. Thomas release the weight of the past. For years, he had thought of Evelyn, wondering about the unanswered letters and the unfulfilled dreams they once shared. He had wrestled with unanswerable questions, trapping himself in a cycle of memories and regret. But now, with each meeting, he understood that there was no need to hold on to what was. Every chapter of life has its own value, whether complete or incomplete. And the most important thing was accepting everything with peace in his heart. Evelyn's presence was also a gentle reminder for Mr. Thomas to live fully in the present. Watching her, he understood that age and time may take away youth, but love and gratitude allow us to live forever in beautiful memories. He no longer worried about what was lost or what remained unfinished. He focused on cherishing each day, each moment they had together. It was Evelyn's presence that helped him rediscover his motivation, rekindling a long-forgotten joy, making every day feel worth living. For years, Mr. Thomas had settled into a quiet rhythm. But now, with Evelyn back in his life, he felt a newfound drive to step beyond solitude and share what he once kept to himself. Their daily conversations helped him feel the deep meaning of love, of sharing, and of friendship. He realized that, at any age, we all need someone to confide in, to love, and to be loved. Evelyn's companionship made Mr. Thomas feel young again, but he was also aware that time was fleeting. Both of them understood this, which only made him treasure each moment with her even more. The time they shared, however limited, was enough to fill him with peace and fulfillment. He knew that even if the end wasn't as they might hope, these beautiful memories would always bring comfort to his remaining days. Looking back on his life, Mr. Thomas understood that peace doesn't come from having everything you want, but from being grateful for all you already have. Old age isn't an end. It's a time for each of us to live at ease with ourselves, to cherish all that we've experienced. And as night falls and silence surrounds him, Mr. Thomas sits by the window, his heart filled with calm and contentment. In these later years, Evelyn's presence has helped him rediscover himself, teaching him how to love and live a life that is full and rich in emotion. Life is often filled with misunderstandings and regrets, but the true meaning lies in how we accept and cherish all that comes our way. After reconnecting with Evelyn, Mr. Thomas realized that this wasn't just the return of an old friend. It was a profound journey that led him from loneliness to peace, from forgetfulness to gratitude. Embracing the present with love and appreciation has allowed him to feel the true value of life. My dear friend, as we enter old age, we gradually come to understand that life isn't about grand pursuits or distant goals. Instead, we begin to see the beauty in simple, profound values that we may never have appreciated in our youth. Each present moment becomes more precious. Relationships become a powerful source of support, and inner peace becomes something we deeply seek. In the next part of this video, I'll share with you 3 invaluable gifts that aging brings: treasuring the present, the importance of love and connection, and achieving a peaceful heart. I hope that through these reflections, you will find calm and fulfillment in these precious days of life. 1. Cherishing the present. Dear friend, as we age, each moment in the present becomes infinitely valuable. Having lived through so much, we now see clearly that life doesn't go on forever, and each second we have is worth cherishing. To treasure the present is to pause and listen to the sounds of life around us, to savor the taste of a simple meal, or to feel each step as we walk in the morning sun. Slowing down, we start to see the beauty in the silence, in the small things we might have overlooked before. Cherishing the present also allows us to let go of past burdens, regrets, and incomplete matters. We understand that we cannot change what has already happened, and what matters most is how we live and experience each present moment. It's only when we fully inhabit each second that we truly feel the deep meaning of life, simple yet filled with joy and peace. 2. The value of love and connection. In our later years, we come to understand that love and connection are priceless. Relationships that have endured over the years, family, friends, those closest to us, are an immense source of comfort and support, keeping us from feeling lost in the world. When we receive love from those dear to us, we feel connected to life, like we are still a vital part of the world around us. That connection, whether it's through simple conversations, a gentle touch, or even just the quiet presence of another person, holds immense power. It reminds us that we are not alone. That love remains, ready to soothe and bring warmth to our hearts. At this age, love is no longer the fierce passion of youth, but rather a steady companionship, a deep understanding and acceptance. It is the greatest comfort, and it gives old age a special significance. 3. Finding peace. And finally, when we've learned to cherish the present and appreciate the value of love, we gradually find a sense of peace within ourselves. Peace comes when we're no longer burdened by the past, when we're content with what we have, and when we're open to whatever life brings. The peace of old age isn't carefreeness, but rather a result of acceptance of ourselves, and of life with all it entails. When we learn peace, we also learn to let things pass naturally, no longer struggling to control or change what lies beyond our reach. Peace makes our hearts feel lighter, and we're no longer fearful or overly anxious about the future. Peace allows us to be true to ourselves, to embrace each day with calm and joy. And that peace is the most precious gift that old age offers, helping us find serenity and fulfillment at the end of life's journey. In closing, dear friend, live with gratitude. Be thankful for each new day you wake up, for the sunlight, for the life all around you. Be thankful for the loved ones who have shared joy and meaning with you. Be grateful for every experience, whether joy or sorrow, because they've shaped who you are today. And above all, be thankful for the old friends who have walked through life with you. The priceless value of an old friend for seniors. Over a lifetime, time and age can change many things: appearance, health, even close relationships. But there's one treasure that doesn't easily fade: the presence of an old friend. As we age, long-standing friendships, especially those that span many years, become more precious than ever. For seniors, an old friend is not just a companion, but a bridge to their past, a source of deep understanding, and a reason to live joyfully and with hope. This article delves into the invaluable role an old friend plays in the lives of seniors, helping them live peacefully and meaningfully in their later years. 1. A connection to the past and a way to rediscover oneself. Old age is often a time when we reflect, ponder, and reminisce about the years we've lived. An old friend can connect with that past fully, sharing memories that only they truly understand. They've been there through the good times and the hard times, witnessing the shared moments that make up a life. When they meet again, memories that seemed distant come back to life: the laughter, challenges, and days of hard work and family life. An old friend helps seniors reconnect with a vital part of themselves. Through shared stories, they rediscover who they were in the years gone by: youthful, filled with energy, passion, and dreams. That friend reminds them of what was once important, of the person they once were. This reflection helps seniors see that their life has been filled with memorable moments, making their old age richer and more meaningful. 2. Deep understanding and compassion. An old friend doesn't need much explanation to understand you. They know the trials you faced and the experiences that shaped who you are. In old age, having an old friend to talk to means you don't need to hide your thoughts or feelings. They understand not only your current life, but also the journey that led you here. This deep understanding and compassion provides seniors with an invaluable source of emotional support. In a world that often moves quickly, an old friend listens sincerely. Without judgment or imposition, they hear what the senior might not be able to share with anyone else. Understanding the feelings of age, loneliness, and fears that can come with the present. This brings immense comfort, making them feel they're not alone on the final journey of life. 3. Motivation to live happily and optimistically. As age advances and health declines, many seniors tend to become more withdrawn. However, an old friend can be a source of motivation to live with happiness and optimism. Each visit and conversation with an old friend is like a breath of fresh air, making life feel more vibrant. Together, they can revisit memories, laugh at old stories, and feel the warmth of a friendship that has lasted for decades. The presence of an old friend brings joy in simple things. It's the joy of being truly understood, of sharing memories, of feeling like you're still a part of life. They bring laughter, a reminder of the value of friendship, making seniors feel they're not isolated but genuinely cared for. 4. A symbol of stability and trust. In life, everything changes, from work, living arrangements, relationships, and even circumstances. But an old friend stands as a symbol of stability, of a friendship that endures over time. They've walked many roads with you, seeing and accepting both your strengths and weaknesses. This lasting connection, something difficult to find in new relationships, brings a sense of security. An old friend is someone you can trust without hesitation. For seniors, this is a special bond, a friend who doesn't judge or turn away, no matter what changes life brings. That friendship serves as a pillar, helping seniors feel safe and confident as they face the challenges of aging. 5. Helping to confront fears and accept aging. Old age brings not only physical fatigue, but also spiritual fears, from loneliness to concerns about health and loss. An old friend is someone who helps them confront these fears with peace. There's someone to confide in, sharing worries about life, and even the fear of passing. An old friend's presence helps seniors accept reality. Instead of avoiding or fearing it, they're encouraged to live fully in the present, understanding that old age is not an ending but a new chapter. Together, they learn to release regrets, leave the past behind, and embrace the present with a calm heart. 6. An inspiration to live with gratitude. For many seniors, an old friend is among the things they're most grateful for. As age slows us down and health declines, we realize that strong, genuine relationships are some of life's greatest treasures. The presence of an old friend is a reminder of gratitude for the friend who stayed, for someone who has shared all the ups and downs of life. This gratitude extends beyond just the friend but to life itself. Seniors realize that, despite life's losses, they have someone to share it with, bringing peace and tranquility. Living with gratitude adds depth and meaning to their lives. 7. A symbol of true friendship. Having an old friend by your side is a testament to true friendship. It's not a friendship based on benefits or circumstances, but one that has endured and grown over time. This friend doesn't need anything from you, just their presence, their willingness to listen, and their sincere understanding. In a world that changes so quickly, a friendship with an old friend is something seniors can rely on, a relationship that time does not diminish. This true friendship helps seniors feel they've lived a meaningful life, showing that deep, honest connections are what truly enrich life. An old friend is a symbol of genuine value, helping them realize that even in old age, there can still be beautiful, meaningful moments. We can say that an old friend is one of the most precious gifts aging brings. They don't just help seniors connect with the past, but also serve as a source of emotional strength and stability. They encourage seniors to live each day fully, free from loneliness, and help them find joy in the simplest things. An old friend is a reminder that, whether life is long or short, it's worth living when we have true friends. Our lives, however brief or long, become complete with the friends who walk through the years with us. Cherish and appreciate all that's come before, for those memories are the priceless pieces that make up each life. If you found this video meaningful, please like, and leave a comment below. Thank you for your valuable time. Goodbye.